To whom else shall I go? You are the truth, the life I know. You are the Christ, the Son of God. In my heart.
Well, now I'll say a word about discernment. Probably overdone as a word, but discernment is simply picking up, intuiting the presence of the mystery of God in our life. Now, for example, if we're good at something and love doing it, we develop a nose for it, a second nature. You know, sometimes we say a person's sport, oh, they're a natural. If you see the really good tennis players or the good football players, they read the play and they just know where to be at the proper time. They don't even think about it. So if we love life and good at living, we develop a nose as to what leads to life and what doesn't. What is life-giving, not life-preserving. Now, good at living means our heart are in the right place. Success is not a gospel value. Nice guys finish last. Look what happened to Jesus. So being good at life means our heart is in the right place. So we have to be in touch with our heart and learn to be still. If our heart is busy, we won't pick up what's going on. I think a good example is calm water can reflect reality. But if the water is disturbed, it can't reflect reality. The same with our hearts. If our hearts are in commotion, we can't reflect what's going on. The word is born in stillness. Now, three factors are important for discernment to be a reality in our life. First of all, prayer. Prayer, a regular part of my life. You know, we know what's important in our life. We have this phrase in English, if we don't like someone, I've got no time for her. We know what's important in our life by the length of time we give to that reality. So how long, now people would say the word should, how long should I pray? Don't like that word should. How long do I want to pray? Now, a good rule of thumb I've found is long enough for me to feel I'm taking the relationship seriously. You see, prayer is investing in the relationship. How long is it good to pray for me? Do I need to pray? Long enough for me to keep the relationship running. Long enough for me to experience I'm taking the relationship seriously. And that's going to vary, you know, according to different people and different... in other words, it's very much a personal decision. It's not private, it's personal. Just without getting too distracted, there's a difference between what is private and what is personal. For example, my vow of chastity, it's very personal, but it's not private. It affects the whole community I live in. And all the virtues, faith, hope, love, they're very personal, but they're not private. They affect the community in which we live. Because we are essentially relational people, relational beings. So, for prayer to be a part of my life, it has to be space and time that will keep the relationship running. If I only pray when I feel like it, my capacity to experience the mystery of God is severely limited. A living relationship with Jesus cannot depend on my moods. A living relationship with Jesus can't depend on how I feel. And then I think what's necessary for discernment is a certain, well, I don't like the word, but it's, anyhow, we can't get away, mortification and self-denial. We cannot see the face of God and live. As we get closer to Jesus, the false self dies and the true self emerges. We cannot see the face of God and live. So what do we mean by mortification? Well, we're prepared to go out of our comfort zones for the sake of others. we make room for the other. I mentioned before being contemplative is an actual. Another simple word for that is listening. To be a really good listener requires great discipline, great self-possession, and it's very, in that sense, mortifying. You see, listening, or contemplation, whatever we call it, it's that loving attention to the other that allows the other to be fully and freely present. That loving attention to the other that allows the other to be fully and freely present. Now that takes great mortification. You know, sometimes when we're talking, we're not really listening to the other person, we're just waiting for them to stop so I can say something. But to be able to really listen, and especially to listen to children, can be quite instructive. See, the purpose of our life is built into the very cells of our body. The purpose of our life is built into the very cells of our body. So a certain discipline is needed so that the intangible world of faith is not drowned out by the immediate attractions of the tangible. In other words, if I'm only engaged, if I only get my juice from what I can see and touch, the world I live in is a very, very small world. If I want to have the world of faith a part of my living reality, then I've got to bring the world of faith. It has to be a motive for what I do. So that I get my juice, if you like, not only from the tangible, but also from the intangible. Like singing, praising Jesus, prayer. That's saying this reality is real. It is a life-giving experience for me to commit myself to this reality.
Lord, to whom else shall I go? You are the truth and life I know. You are